Look, what you're about to see isn't just a handful of tips. This is a system for domination. It's designed to close that gap between who you are right now and who you are truly capable of becoming. And it all boils down to one simple word: execution.
So let's just start with the only question that actually matters. And I want you to be really honest with yourself for a second. Why aren't you where you want to be in your life right now? I mean, what's really stopping you?
Yeah, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The blunt, honest answer, the reason is you. It's us. We get so addicted to planning, to thinking about success, but we never actually get around to doing the hard work.
And this all comes down to one core problem that everyone faces. It's called the execution gap. Think of it like this giant canyon between knowing exactly what you need to do, hit the gym, make that sales call, write the code, and what you actually end up doing. Our entire goal here is to build a bridge across that gap.
So where do we even begin? Well, it's not with some fancy new strategy, it's with your biology. The first rule is dead simple. You have to fix your biological machine. I mean, you can have the best, most brilliant ideas in the world, but they're absolutely useless if the hardware running them is broken down.
And this is what I love because it just cuts through all that positive thinking noise, The point is crystal clear. You can't just think your way to high performance. It doesn't work like that. If you are physically drained, if your energy is trash, then your work, your output will be trash, period.
And the absolute foundation of your biology is sleep. This whole hustle culture myth about grinding on 4 hours of sleep, it's a total scam. It's for amateurs. The people at the very, very top, we're talking Bezos, Gates, they treat sleep as non-negotiable. 7 to 8 hours isn't some kind of luxury. It is a hard requirement for elite performance.
Okay, next up, you have to win your mornings. Because the second you look at your phone, you instantly switch from creation mode into reaction mode. You're just responding to everybody else's agenda. The protocol is simple, and you can do this tonight. Your phone charges in the kitchen, not your bedroom. Use a real alarm clock, and just win that first hour.
And part of winning that first hour is how you fuel your body. See, a sugary breakfast, like cereal or a pastry, it pretty much guarantees you're going to have a major focus crash mid-morning. The key takeaway is super simple: high protein, high fat. This keeps your blood sugar stable, which translates directly to stable, locked-in focus all day long.
So once your biology's dialed in, the game completely changes. You stop managing minutes on a clock, and you start managing your energy. This is the fundamental shift, the real secret that separates the amateurs from the top 1%.
And this right here just illustrates the difference perfectly. Amateurs, they use to-do lists. And let's be honest, a to-do list is basically a graveyard where good intentions go to die. They just create anxiety. Professionals, they use time blocking. The rule is absolute. If it is not scheduled on your calendar, it doesn't exist. It's not real.
Your calendar isn't a suggestion box. It is your primary weapon for getting things done. So here's your action item. Before you go to sleep tonight, open your calendar for tomorrow and assign a job to every single hour. Delete the white space, because a day that's planned in the morning is already lost.
Now, within that schedule, you have to carve out sacred time for what really moves the needle: deep work. This is where real wealth is created. You find your single most difficult, important task, and you give it a 4-hour, fortress-like block of time. That means phone on airplane mode, all notifications off, 0 interruptions. And to protect that focus, you have to use a technique called batching. Get this: every single time you switch from one type of task to another, like, say, from writing a report to checking your email, it costs you about 20 minutes of cognitive focus just to get back on track. The solution is easy. Do all your emails in one block, all your calls in another. Stop the switching.
This brings us to the next big idea. And this one's a little provocative. The argument is that goals are for losers. Now, why? Because goals rely on motivation and willpower, and those things run out. They're finite. Winners, on the other hand, rely on systems, because systems create automatic discipline.
So how do you build a system that basically runs on autopilot? Well, it starts with a surprisingly simple rule, and it's all represented by this one little number.
The 2-minute rule. It's designed to completely eliminate mental clutter. If a task, like responding to a quick text, taking out the trash, putting a file away, if it takes less than 2 minutes, you do it immediately. You don't write it down, you don't schedule it, you just do it. This keeps your mind clear for the big things.
All right, so we've covered your biology and the tactics. Now we get to the final and maybe the most important piece: your mindset. And the biggest mindset shift you can make is developing what is your most valuable asset, your no muscle.
And, I mean, who better to learn this from than Warren Buffett, right? This quote is everything. It's not about what you do, it's about what you don't do. Every time you say yes to some low-value request, you are automatically saying no to your most important work.
Okay, let's make this super practical. From this moment on, every request, every opportunity, it gets run through one simple filter. Is this a hell yes? If the answer is anything less, like maybe or sure, I guess, then the answer is a firm no. So here's your homework. Look at your calendar for next week right now and cancel 2 things that do not pass that test.
But even when you're prioritizing like a killer, there's another enemy of execution that sneaks in: perfectionism. We have to call it what it really is. It is not a commitment to quality. It's fear. It's the fear of being judged, the fear of looking stupid, all dressed up in a fancy tuxedo to look professional.
So, what's the antidote to this kind of fear? Well, it's a rule used by some of the most effective people on the planet, and it can be captured in a single number.
It's the 70% rule. See, speed is a currency in this world. If you wait until you have 100% of the information, until you feel 100% ready, you're already too late. Someone else has beaten you to it. The crucial thing to remember is this: you can steer a moving car, but you can't steer a parked one. So take the imperfect action. Just move.
And that brings us to the end. You've got the systems, you've got the tactics, and now it all comes down to a final, stark choice. The daily pain of doing the hard work, of discipline, that's light. It weighs ounces. But the pain of looking back years from now at the person you could have been, that pain weighs tons.
The choice is yours. Close the gap, get to work.